being a street performer in the suburbs? On a cul-de-sac? The only time I've had an audience is if a car made a turnaround on my block. Total flop. I tried magic too. I kept making things disappear. I forgot where they went. I put rabbits in hats. The hats would disappear. When that didn't work out, I decided I better get to school and get an education. And I became a school teacher because you know what they say, right? Those who can, do. Those who can't, teach. I wasn't too good at that either, so I did what teachers who can't teach do. I became a gym teacher. But those who can't teach, teach gym. And I was a teacher in New York City for over 30 years. I told you that once before. Some of the toughest schools in New York City. The kids I had spent more time out in the hallways, in the cafeteria. They majored in recess. I thought a few of them would become astronauts because they just took up space. They were all a bunch of wise guys, too. I always tried to instill some values in them. And I told them the story about how George Washington was such an honest person. When he chopped down his father's cherry tree, he admitted it to his father. And I asked the kids in the class, why is it that George's father never punished him for chopping down the cherry tree? And Louis in the back of the room raised his hand and said, because George still had the axe in his hand. They were wise guys. But I retired from that. I gave up on that. And I decided that I'd take a part-time job here at the Senior Center. I fit in a lot better here. I really do. I think I do. At least I hope that I do. But working here at the Senior Center is a lot of fun. But growing old, I think a lot of you can relate to this. Things change. And as I'm getting older, I notice that certain things take the place of other things in our lives. Like sex. You remember sex? What's that? You don't remember sex, Frank, huh? Frank doesn't remember. Okay? What takes the place of sex as we get older? What? Food. Right? Food. Food takes the place of sex. Okay? You come to the dance. The first thing we hear when we're selling tickets to the dance, what's on the menu? Okay? We're going on a trip. Nobody cares where they're going. They want to know where they're going to wind up afterwards. What restaurant are we going to? Okay? Food has taken the place of sex for me completely. Completely. Last week, I had a mirror put in over my dining room table. I got a delayed reaction on that one. Okay? Maybe I better slow down for this audience, okay? Do I need to slow down a little bit here? But, you know, forget about sex with my wife. Forget about it. We were watching Who Wants to Be a Millionaire the other night. You know, it's in syndication right now. And I leaned over to her and I said, hey, honey, you want to make love? And she looked at me and she said, no. I said, is that your final answer? She said, yes, it is. I said, well, if you don't mind, I'd like to phone a friend then. But my wife, maybe she doesn't want to fool around because she doesn't feel too good about herself. The other day she said to me, I'm old, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I need you to say something nice to me. So I did, I told her, your eyesight's perfect. Now I'm getting booze over here, you know? Our anniversary had just passed. And before the anniversary had come, she asked me to go out and get her something that was shiny, that went from 0 to 200 in 5 seconds. So I went out and I bought her a scale. You get me? These are called jokes, right? Okay, I got a little laugh over here. They're called jokes, okay? Hey, you're getting your $16 worth, right? Okay, the food was very good today, wasn't it? Yeah, I liked the food. It was excellent. But we talk about weight. I was talking to the ladies in the back there at the last table there, right? We were talking before about gaining weight and going to the doctor, and I had put on 50 pounds last year. I went to see my doctor, and he told me, look, you're overweight. I want you to go out, and I want you to jog 5 miles a day for 2 weeks, and I did, and I lost 10 pounds. But it was 70 miles from my home, and I don't know where the hell I was. A little delayed reaction on that one, too. My doctor's a wise guy, a real wise guy, though. You know, you get older, like everything starts to sag and discolor. My teeth were turning brown. He tells me to go out and buy some yellow ties. What kind of an answer is that? Okay? And I did. I went out and I bought some yellow ties. But I'm a very, very anxious person. I get worried about everything. Constantly filled with anxiety. I get up in the morning and I think about everything that's on my platter for the day. And sometimes I just get so nervous I decided I needed to see a psychiatrist. And I went to see one. I said, Doc, what's my problem? What's wrong? He told me I have obsessive compulsive disorder. Couldn't believe it. Obsessive compulsive disorder. I went home. I had to call him 19 times to make sure he was certain.
How'd you like that one, Frank?
That was a little bit better there, Jim. But, you know, we fool around about things like this, but if we can't laugh at this stuff, what could we laugh at, right? We all have our problems, okay? We all have our physical problems. We all have our mental problems. I have my full share of every one of them. I really do. But my psychiatrist told me one thing as you're getting older, one thing. You gotta stop living in the past. Do not live in the past. I said, why can't I live in the past? Because you might get smallpox. You got that one, Shirley? All right. Okay, I want to make sure she got that. But you know what? If you want to feel good about yourself, you have to go out and do good things, kind things for people. And always make sure that I open up my heart and I do kind things for people. You do kind things, you do charitable works, you do charitable works, right? I'm sure you do. You're full of baloney. You don't do what you do. She's telling me she'll say yes to anything. The other day, I got to know you to know you don't do charitable works.
That's Gloria.
Hello, Gloria. Gloria is the most uncharitable person I know. Okay? I know nothing about this woman, but I know that she's not a very nice person. Okay? She took 2 pieces of cheesecake. She thinks I didn't see it. But we kid, right? We're just kidding, you know, right? Okay. How come you're not laughing? So I went to the park, and I brought a couple of pieces of pizza with me. It was my lunch time, and I sat down on the bench, and I saw this poor, disheveled soul right across the way from me, a homeless man. The poor guy was eating a paper napkin. Terrible. I felt so badly for him. Eating a paper napkin here in the United States of America. I felt so badly, I got up, I went over to him, and I offered him one of my 2 pieces of pizza. That's called charity, Gloria. Okay?
I'm the homeless.
All right? I gave him a piece of pizza, and he looked at me, and there was a tear in his eye. And he thanked me. And then he took the piece of pizza, he wiped his mouth, and he kept eating the napkin. I'll tell you, you never know what you're going to run into out there. But one thing I do know, when life gets beat down, as it does to many people, you have to look to the future. You have to look inwardly. Sometimes you have to look for God. I was so desperate last week, I saw an ad in the paper. It said, for help, call Jesus, and there was a number. So I dialed the number, and I got an answer machine, and I left a message. 3 days later, some Mexican guy showed up at my house and started mowing my lawn. Is everybody ready to sing a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy, you ready?